Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, I hope that you consider subscribing to my channel so that you can stay up to date with the latest news. Give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate the topic. In this video, we will discuss what BRICS is, the history of this alliance, its objectives, and why BRICS is considered such a big deal. I will also briefly cover some of the main challenges that this group faces as well as its future prospects. So, BRICS is an acronym that stands for a group of 5 major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It represents a political and economic alliance that seeks to enhance cooperation and influence among its members, especially as a counterbalance to Western-dominated institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. BRICS is a grouping of 5 major developing economies, which together represent over 40% of the world's population and 25% of global GDP. The term BRIC was coined by economist Jim O'Neill of Goldman Sachs in 2001 to describe 4 fast-growing economies that he believed would dominate global affairs in the 21st century. He included Brazil, Russia, India, and China in his initial assessment. At the time, these countries were considered to be major players in the global economy, but they lacked the political clout and international influence of established Western powers. O'Neill argued that their combined economic strength would enable them to reshape the global political order and drive significant changes in areas such as finance, trade, and diplomacy. It wasn't until 2006 that the BRIC countries began formal diplomatic coordination, at first through low-key meetings on the margins of UN General Assemblies. However, the first official BRIC summit took place in Yekaterinburg, Russia in June of 2009. The summit was hosted by Russia, which held the rotating presidency of the group at the time. The leaders of the 4 BRIC countries used the opportunity to discuss a wide range of issues, including the global financial crisis, reform of international financial institutions, and cooperation in areas such as trade and investment. In 2010, South Africa was invited to join the group, and the acronym officially changed from BRIC to BRICS. South Africa's inclusion brought several advantages to the group. Firstly, it provided a broader geographic representation, as South Africa is the only African country in the BRICS alliance, giving it a voice in global affairs on behalf of the continent. Secondly, South Africa's admission signaled a shift in the Group's focus from primarily economic issues to a broader agenda that included political and security concerns. And thirdly, it enhanced the Group's legitimacy and influence by bringing in a country with a strong commitment to democracy, good governance, and human rights. Now let's talk about the key objectives of the BRICS. The primary goal of the bloc is to foster closer ties among developing countries to facilitate dialogue and cooperation on issues of common interest. This includes topics such as poverty reduction, economic growth, and the equitable distribution of global wealth. Another important objective of the BRICS is to reform and reshape global financial institutions to better reflect the interests of developing countries. For example, the BRICS advocates for greater representation and voting power within institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, which currently have significant influence over global financial and economic policies. Moreover, the group aims to reduce its reliance on reserve currencies, like the US dollar, to safeguard against potential fluctuations in exchange rates and to mitigate risks associated with holding large amounts of foreign currency. To achieve this, the BRICS promotes the use of local currencies in bilateral trade transactions and encourages the development of alternative financial systems that are less susceptible to external pressures. Furthermore, the bloc seeks to address global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and terrorism through collaboration and joint initiatives. By pooling their resources and expertise, the BRICS members strive to find common ground and implement solutions that benefit not only their own populations, but also the wider international community. It's also worth mentioning that the BRICS has increasingly emphasized the importance of intra-bloc trade and investment among its member countries. This is seen as a way to diversify their economic partners, reduce reliance on developed countries, and stimulate growth within the bloc. By promoting closer economic ties, the BRICS aims to create a more resilient and self-sufficient economic system that is less vulnerable to external shocks. At present, there are 9 BRICS members. These are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Although Argentina had initially expressed interest and formally applied to join the bloc, it recently decided to step back due to domestic political considerations. Interestingly enough, the UAE became the newest BRICS member, even though it had previously been criticized for its close ties with Western nations. But now that it's part of the bloc, it will likely face pressure to align itself with the geopolitical goals of the group. There are multiple organizations within the BRICS structure. First and foremost, there is the New Development Bank, also known as the BRICS Bank. It was established in 2015 with the primary objective of providing an alternative to Western-led lending institutions such as the World Bank and the IMF. The bank is headquartered in Shanghai, China, and is owned by its member countries. Its stated mission is to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other developing countries. The BRICS Bank has a unique membership structure, which goes beyond the core BRICS countries. Besides the original 5 members, the Bank's membership is open to all developing countries that are eligible for membership and are willing to ratify the BRICS Bank's charter. Currently, it has 19 member countries, and it has approved loans for infrastructure projects in various sectors such as transportation, healthcare, and renewable energy. Another noteworthy institution within the BRICS framework is the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, or CRA. This is essentially a currency swap mechanism designed to provide emergency financial assistance to member countries facing balance of payments crises. The CRA was established in 2015 with an initial size of $100 billion. Its purpose is to supplement existing international reserves and to provide liquidity support to participating countries without relying on traditional lenders like the IMF. As of 2023, the CRA had $30.2 billion in its reserves and was expanded to include non-BRICS members. Countries that access the facility must contribute to it proportionally based on their share of total foreign exchange reserves. Despite its many strengths, the BRICS faces several challenges. One significant obstacle is the internal tension, particularly between India and China. These two influential members have a long history of complex and sometimes conflicting relationship marked by territorial disputes, trade competition, and differing political values. Their ongoing border clashes highlight the fragility of the BRICS alliance and raise questions about its ability to function effectively as a cohesive bloc. Additionally, the BRICS comprises countries with diverse political systems and economic priorities, ranging from democratic Brazil to authoritarian China and Russia. This diversity makes it challenging to reach consensus on key issues and coordinate joint policies, especially when there are fundamental differences in ideology and governance. Furthermore, the BRICS faces criticism for lacking sufficient institutional capacity compared to Western-led blocs like the G7 or NATO. Many argue that the BRICS needs stronger institutional frameworks and more robust mechanisms for conflict resolution and policy coordination to effectively advance its goals. Another concern is the extent to which the BRICS can truly decouple from the West. Despite its efforts to reduce reliance on Western financial systems, the BRICS still maintains significant economic ties with the West. Many of its members rely on foreign investment and trade with Western countries, making it difficult to fully break away from the current global order. Finally, there is a perception that the BRICS may be dominated by China, which has the largest economy and significant financial resources. This dominance could potentially overshadow the interests of smaller members and undermine the group's inclusiveness, leading to accusations of neocolonialism and a loss of autonomy. So in conclusion, the BRICS represents a growing trend towards multipolarity in world politics. Its expansion signals a shift in global power dynamics and a desire for a more inclusive and representative international system. By offering an alternative platform for dialogue and cooperation, the BRICS provides developing countries with a space to articulate their interests and seek collective action on pressing global challenges. Moreover, the increasing participation from Asia and Africa reflects a rising assertiveness among non-Western nations and a rejection of the unipolar world dominated by the United States. It signifies a demand for a more equitable and multipolar global order that takes into account the interests of all nations. As the BRICS continues to gain momentum and evolve, it will be crucial for its members to address internal divisions, strengthen institutional mechanisms, and pursue inclusive policies that represent the interests of all developing countries. Only then can the BRICS fulfill its potential as a force for positive change in global politics and economics. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please show your support. Give it a thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe. Follow me on social media for more content. I'd love to have you back for my next one. And if you know someone who might find this video interesting, please share it with them. I'll see you in my new one tomorrow. Take care.